All right, let's jump right in. We are doing a deep dive on Winter Storm Bellamy. And, I mean, this was a massive high-severity event. We're talking about a hazard that impacted something like 63 million people.
Right across the Midwest and the Great Lakes. St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit.
Exactly. And the National Weather Service, they weren't mincing words. They called it potentially the heaviest snowfall in at least a decade. So let's unpack that.
Well, what's fascinating here is the compounded risk. It's not just that it's a lot of snow.
Okay.
It's that you're combining that extreme accumulation with wind velocities hitting 50 miles per hour. I mean, that's the literal definition of a blizzard warning.
A true blizzard.
Yeah. And our mission today is to really synthesize the operational failures. Where did the whole regional system break down?
And it seems like it started on the ground almost immediately.
Instantly.
You had official advisories for corridors like I-70 and I-64, calling travel extremely difficult or impossible.
And that wasn't an exaggeration.
No, and here's the really wild part. The snowfall rates were just winning the fight against the plows.
Completely overwhelmed.
Roads were apparently becoming snow-covered again in, what, less than half an hour?
That's right. Which is why you saw this immediate emergency escalation.
You mean the National Guard being mobilized?
Exactly. In Indiana, just to help pull stranded motorists out. And crucially, the ground links between St. Louis and Chicago I-70, I-55, they were functionally severed.
Just gone.
When your primary ground corridors fail that badly, you have total paralysis.
And that paralysis immediately cascades into the air, right?
Oh, absolutely. The ripple effect is huge.
So Chicago O'Hare, this massive hub, it goes into what they called an excessive delay status.
Right.
But if you were looking at, say, Detroit or St. Louis at that moment, their delay rates looked pretty low. That's deceptive, isn't it?
It's completely deceptive. You have to think of Chicago as the sort of the battery charger for the whole regional air system. The planes and the crews that are supposed to fly into Detroit and St. Louis,
Yeah.
well, they have to fly out of Chicago first.
So if O'Hare is grounded.
Then those planes are never coming. The low delay rates just mean the wave of cancellations hasn't hit them yet. It's a lag.
Got it. Okay, shifting to infrastructure, we found a really surprising localized detail here.
A real anomaly, yeah.
So statewide power outages in Missouri were, relatively low, but then you zoom in,
Right into St. Louis City.
and that's catastrophic. A 36.41% outage rate for tracked customers in the city. That's a localized collapse.
It is. It points to a critical distribution failure, and the city recognized that threat immediately.
So they activated the Code Blue protocols.
Yeah.
What does that signal?
That signals that the priority has fundamentally changed. It's no longer just about getting commercial traffic moving or power back on for businesses.
It's about life preservation.
Exactly. It's a humanitarian response. Getting shelter for the vulnerable becomes the top priority for all emergency resources.
And that threat changes again as you move north toward the Great Lakes. Detroit, for instance,
The type of snow is different.
they're dealing with that heavy, wet snow. You combine that with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. What does that do to the grid?
Well, that's just a recipe for widespread destruction of power lines.
Because of the weight.
It's all about the weight. That wet snow is far denser, much heavier, and it clings to everything. So you load up the lines with all that weight, then the wind starts whipping them around, and snap! The infrastructure just can't take it.
Okay, so wrapping this up, based on all these failure points, what's the immediate actionable takeaway?
It's actually pretty clear. All non-critical ground movement on those major interstates, I-70, I-55, it has to be suspended immediately.
And for how long should people be planning for disruptions?
Based on the damage and the overwhelmed plowing capacity, you have to anticipate delays of 24 to 48 hours at a minimum.
So this whole thing, this so-called decade-level event, it really feels like a critical stress test for the entire region.
It is.
And that brings us to the final provocative thought we want to leave you with. If the data is right, and rapid Arctic warming is pushing more frequent and more severe storms like Bellamy further south.
If this becomes the new normal.
Right. Are we still planning our regional infrastructure, our utilities, our road budgets for the winter of the past, when we should be planning for the winter of the future?